And we're going to pay really close attention to this article un, an apartment. Not really sure if it exists when we see the uses of the subjunctive, because we're going to see a different article and it's going to change our grammar. So, mi estudiante necesita un apartamento nuevo. ¿Conocen ustedes algún apartamento que esté cerca del campus? In this question, ¿conocen ustedes? What am I asking you? ¿Conocen ustedes algún apartamento?
Do you know?
Yeah, do you know of, right? Are you familiar with? Remember, conocer has to do with familiarity. And it's in the form of a question. So this would fall under the category of the unknown. That's what I'm asking you. So on the super site and on the chapter 14 test, if you see it in the form of a question and that information is unknown, which is why we're using the verb to know, conocer, we're going to use el subjuntivo. Esté cerca del campus. El subjuntivo del verbo estar. Because why? Because it's unknown. When we're just by the fact that we're asking the question with the verb to know, it falls under the classification of the unknown, and therefore we use the subjunctive. Sin embargo, miren chicos, este verbo está. Sí, conocemos un apartamento que está cerca del campus. What happened to our verb? Está is now what?
Indicative.
It's in the indicative. Why would it change? It's basically the same words, a little thing changed about the verb in terms of its conjugation, but that's just because of the subject. Why did it change to the indicative, do you think?
Because it's no longer unknown.
Because it's no longer unknown, because we're saying, yes, we do know, or I do know, conozco un apartamento. No? So because it's now known, we're going to use the indicative. We don't need to use the subjunctive. The subjunctive is only with the unknown. However, again, in our negative response, what happened to the verb? Stayed in the subjunctive. Why do you think that is?
Still unknown.
It's not unknown, or in this case, it would fall under the non-existent. It doesn't exist. No conocemos ningún apartamento que esté cerca del campus. No, es febrero. No, tienen que esperar. So, entienden los usos, unknown, non-existent, subjuntiva. Vamos a ver ejemplos, ¿ok? Y este es el contexto del, por ejemplo, house hunters. Mi estudiante quiere un apartamento que tenga lavaplatos. So, otra vez, what is this saying? Mi estudiante quiere un apartamento? An apartment. Any apartment, okay? And this falls under the unknown or the non-existent because of this article right here. Que subjuntivo, ¿no? Tenga lavaplatos. ¿Tienen ustedes lavaplatos en sus apartamentos? Son muy necesarios, en mi opinión, me gustan. Pero muchos apartamentos en Charleston son históricos y no tienen lavaplatos, ¿no? Pero mi estudiante quiere. So we have quiere here, and quiere, ¿cómo se dice quiere en inglés? Wants, right? So we know wants. You know in the acronym WEIRDO and the subjunctive that we talked about last chapter? Wants falls under the W, wants and wishes. So we know that we would use the subjunctive with quiere, but this un also classifies the subjunctive under the unknown, or possibly the non-existent. So tenga lavaplatos. ¿Entienden? Otro ejemplo. Quiere, otra vez, un apartamento que tenga lavadora y secadora. ¿No? ¿Tienen ustedes lavadoras y secadoras en sus apartamentos o sus casas? Sí, yo también. Pero en el pasado, cuando yo era estudiante de College de Charleston, no siempre tenía lavadora ni secadora en mis apartamentos. Subjuntivo, porque no se sabe. It's unknown if this apartment has everything that this student wants. any apartment. Mi estudiante quiere un apartamento que esté cerca del campus. Y este es el ejemplo que pueden copiar en sus papeles, ¿no? Sus papeles. Esté cerca del campus. El subjuntivo. Esté, del verbo estar. So, mi estudiante está listando sus deseos en un apartamento. Quiere el apartamento que tiene balcón. Ok, chicos, presten atención. Les explico en inglés. Vamos a repasar lo que está pasando. So we still have quiere. We're still expressing want, but notice I highlighted the article el.
It's specific versus kind of abstract. It's saying the apartment.
The apartment. And when we use the article the, el apartamento, and as you can see, you could easily overlook this on the superside of the test. Un versus el, along with quiere, results in either the subjunctive or the indicative. And because we have the apartment, when we reference the apartment, this is like after I've, let's say I'm the real estate agent and I've shown the student a bunch of different apartments and we're reviewing which ones did you like, and now they've narrowed it down that they like the one, or they want the apartment that has the balcony. ¿Entienden? So now we're in the context of like reviewing all the ones we saw, and they're like, I like the one with the with the balcony. Okay? And because we have this specific reference, el, now we're just going to use the indicative because it does exist. So even though the book says adjective clauses, that doesn't really specify what we're talking about, which is why I've classified it as the unknown or the non-existent. Unknown, non-existent. Un or una or unos or unas. El, la, los, or las means it exists. El carro, or los hoteles. Okay, so when you're doing your superside homework, pay close attention with these articles. These are called indefinite articles with verbs like busca, quiere, necesita. We talked about what quiere means. ¿Cómo se dice quiere? Wants, right. So it falls under the W in weirdo. However, when used with this indefinite article, it will definitely result in the subjunctive because it's unknown. Okay? Necesita. ¿Cómo se dice necesita? Need. It's a little bit more intense than want, but it would fall under, we've seen it with, it would fall under the W in wants and weirdos and weirdo. But necesita plus an indefinite article will result in the subjunctive. But ¿cómo se dice busca? Busca. To look for. Right, exactly. So again, wants, needs, looking for. Okay? And this could also fall in the context of the library or something like that, where if you're looking for the book, it's there, and you go to the library and you just ask the librarian, I'm looking for the book by such and such author. That would be the indicative because it exists. But un libro, una casa, or un apartamento, or unas vacaciones, we don't know if it exists, especially with the client's budget, and therefore we're going to use the subjunctive. Okay, so those are with kind of like the unknowns. And then I talked about these questions. We talked about conoce, which means what with a question? Do you know of? Are you familiar with, right? Do you know of a professor at College of Charleston? Are you familiar with a professor at College of Charleston that doesn't have final exams? In that particular example, we're going to use a subjunctive because we don't know if that professor exists. Or do you know of a professor that cancels class on Fridays? Or do you know of a professor that accepts late work? Or do you know of a professor that never assigns homework? We don't know if these professors exist on campus, and so therefore all of those examples in Spanish would be the subjunctive, okay, in the form of a question. If we do know of a professor, is there a professor on campus that you all know of that cancels class all the time? Okay, so if you do know, you would answer in the indicative, But if you didn't know of, you would still say in the subjunctive. ¿Entienden? Okay, so that has to do with conocer as a question and or as a statement, negative, subjunctive. Hay, ¿cómo se dice hay? Hay profesores que no tengan exámenes finales. Hay profesores que cancelan clases todos los viernes. Are there? Hay estudiantes en College of Charleston que sean de Canadá. Hay estudiantes en College of Charleston que sean del Caribe. Hay estudiantes de College of Charleston que sean de Inglaterra. So in all those questions, I am asking, are there? And then I was indicating origin. So if you do know of any students from Canada, the Caribbean, or England, would you use the subjunctive or the indicative in your response? The indicative. Sí, hay estudiantes que son de Inglaterra. Hay estudiantes que son del Caribe. No? Son. Indicativo because it exists. ¿Entienden? Okay, and then no hay ningún estudiante de Bolivia que sea de Bolivia en College of Charleston. Or no hay ningún ningún profesor en College of Charleston que no tenga exámenes finales. So when we answer in the negative, ningún profesor, no hay nadie que sea de Bolivia. Por ejemplo, we're going to use the subjunctive why. No hay nadie, no hay ningún profesor. Ningún is just when we're specifying profesor, estudiante, ninguna clase. Nadie is just no one. When we answer in the negative, why would we use the subjunctive? How is this classified? Right, you still don't know. Or the non-existent, it doesn't exist. So at the end of house hunters, like after they've looked around or they've spoken with their agent or even in a real life situation face to face, the agent's like, there is no house on the peninsula that has everything you want for your budget. That doesn't exist. You know, reality check. That would be in the subjunctive because it falls under the non-existent. ¿Entienden? Okay, y no conoce a nadie would fall under that as well, and it's just saying what? No conoce a nadie is just, yeah, conozco, I don't know anyone, or really in Spanish, no one. Subjuntivo, unknown or non-existent, okay? ¿Entienden? Okay, vamos a ver, say, and then these exist, like I said, if we see el, la, los, or las with any of these verbs, we're going to use the indicative. Okay. Vamos a ver, indicativo or subjuntivo. Aquí tengo los verbos. Tiene or tenga. Tenga. Muy bien. ¿Por qué? Un apartamento. Quiero más un es tenga. Because why? When I say quiero un apartamento, I'm saying I want a apartment que tenga cocina, una cocina grande. No, we don't know if it exists. Subjuntivo. Sabe or sepa? No conozco a nadie is saying what?
I don't know, so sepa.
I don't know anyone. Or I don't know no one, so sepa. Because why? This is a phrase of
Unknowing.
yeah, unknown, non-existent, really, because you don't know. Busco a alguien. Busco a alguien. We didn't really talk about this one. Let's see if you can figure it out. ¿Cómo se dice busco? I'm looking for. Ayude. Muy bien. Let's talk about why. Ayude. Why is it the subjunctive? I'm looking for. ¿Cómo se dice alguien? Someone, anyone that can help me with, the superside homework. Why is this a subjunctive? See?
Because I don't know the person that would be doing that yet.
Right, we're using the word anyone, someone, and so therefore we don't know if this person exists, right? I'm looking for someone. It's like you go to the foreign language tutoring lab and you say this in Spanish, they're like, you clearly can speak Spanish really well. Can't understand why you can't do your homework. But anyway, let's just say you walk into the lab and you're like, busco a alguien que me ayude con la tarea, and they might be like, no hay nadie que te pueda ayudar con su tarea porque todas las personas ayudantes no están aquí hoy. Okay? So if they're unknown or non-existent, even in this context, busco does fall under the use of the subjunctive, looking for, but alguien as well. Necesito pasar por el banco que está o esté en la esquina. Esté muy bien, ¿por qué? Oh, perdón, no es esté. Perdón. Why is it not esté? It's actually está, yeah, el. Muy bien. El banco is saying what?
The bank.
The bank. In the past with students, we've talked about this in terms of you're on vacation or you're on a trip in Buenos Aires. It's a really big city. You check in after your long flight, because it's like a 10-hour flight from here. You check in, you drop off your bags, you take a quick shower, whatever, and you want to explore the city. And you leave your hotel, and you're walking around, you're having a blast, and it's like evening, and you're ready to go back. And you're like, I can't remember the name of our hotel. But we need to go back to the hotel that has the big fountain out front, okay? Maybe you're in your Uber, and you're like, it's the one, we need to go to the one with the big fountain out front. I can't remember the name of it, but it exists. And therefore, you want to use the indicative. ¿Entienden? So necesito, or quiero, or busco. Es or sea. Tengo un hermano. Does this person exist? When you say tengo un hermano, what are you saying? I have a brother. Does that person exist?
Yes.
Absolutamente. So, es or sea? Es. No? So careful, because even though we talked about un and una, etc., that only applies to what? Yeah, busca, necesita, quiere. So don't overgeneralize. It's very normal for students to do that. However, with this verb, tengo, I have, I have a professor that always cancels class. Or I have, friends that speak Spanish. Those people would exist, and we'd use the indicative.